What's good, my peoples? Thank you for clicking the link. And not for me, but for you. Because this is that moment that is about to change your life. We are about to get in what you need to do to create your dream lifestyle. Because it's not as hard as you think. It's just having that plan and that process simplified for you to build that consistency in life. And when you can do that, you will win. So let's jump right in and not waste any more time. So what we are creating is a one moment mindset, because that's what life is about. Taking things one moment at a time. If you can start to develop that mindset, that's when you start to speed up life. You start off slow in that car, right? You're going 20, 30 miles per hour. You on side streets. Eventually, you get to that highway. Now you're going 60, 70 miles per hour. But let's take it back to the beginning. You got to start before you get to that point. And I'm always about starting at the start line and then getting to that finish line. But let's not think about the finish line. Let's think about that start line. So let's get into that. So it starts off with the 4 transformations. This is what is going to allow you to build that dream lifestyle. Number 1 is focus. We all know what focus is, right? You want to make sure that you take something and you focus on it. But a lot of times in life, we tend to focus on too many things. I know me personally, when I was younger, I used to try to focus on too much, right? I wanted to start my own business, right? I had where I was doing customized workouts for people, build a workout plan, you go do it on your own, right? But my problem was I was trying to wear every single hat. And I was trying to wear every single hat every day, every week, which made it almost impossible to become great at something. I was trying to create the plans. I was trying to do the marketing. I was trying to do the sales. I was training the people. Like, I was doing it all. Now, if I would have just took one section and let's just start off with creating the content. Let's build that. Let's make that great, right? Let's focus on that. Become great at it. Then the next thing that you go to, it could have been going to marketing, just focus on the marketing, become great at that. Then go to the sales, become great at that. But it's steps that you have to take. And it's all about that one moment mindset. So if that's the case, that focus, you need to translate it to one area. It's on 10 things at a time. Believe me, I've been there. I've done that. It doesn't work. Only thing it's going to do is eventually overwhelm you, and then you're right back to that start line, right? We're trying to get to that finish line, but if we keep going back to the start line, we can never finish, right? The next one is time management. Again, self-explanatory, right? Time management. Everybody knows, you want to make sure you keep track of time. You know what I'm saying? You want to know your time. A lot of times you go to work, right? And that time management is there, right? You clock in at 8 o'clock, you leave at 5 o'clock, right? You tuck your lunch break at 12 o'clock, right? You have 2 little side breaks that they give you, 2 15-minute breaks. You're doing time management. But then when you clock out of work, you go to your regular life, what happened to that time management? We lose it. We lose it, right? I've worked at jobs. I've been there. I've done that. Where I was like, man, when I get off work, I'm going to be so productive. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, right? But I never created a true time management schedule to get the most out of my time when I left work. So I found myself working. I get off. I'm either tired or I sit there and procrastinate and just think. Like, how many times have you done that? You sat there and you was ready, you was motivated, you just sat there and you was like, okay, should I do this? Should I do that? What am I going to do? Right? You don't have any type of time management schedule. Why do you think corporations and these jobs are successful? Because they have that time management. So if you can apply that to your lifestyle, think about how successful you can become. So that's what we want to do. We want to start implementing that time management in your life. So now we know what we're going to focus on, right? We got that. Now let's start creating that time management. So now we can see what's going on with what we're focusing on and become great at it. And that takes us to number 3, which is discipline. We all know what discipline is, right? So, but the thing is, too many times we create that forced discipline. I like to say it's forced discipline and it's flow discipline, right? Majority of the time you are creating that forced discipline. And what happens? You end up stopping. You never reach that ultimate goal because it's that stop and start because you're forcing yourself to do it. What we are going to create is that flow discipline where you don't even feel like you being disciplined because it's just a part of your day already. And we start off with the focused time management, which is going to allow us to be disciplined because we know what's going on. Remember I said you sit down there at that desk and you just like, well, what do I do now? Like, should I do this? Should I do that? Right? And then you force yourself to do something. And then every day you keep doing that. And what happens? You stop, right? Boom. You're back at the start line. We don't want that. So we're going to create that flow discipline because I was all about that stop and start. That was my life for a very, very long time. And until I start understanding my tolerance levels, I was always forcing it because I played sports and that's what it was. Like, even if you don't want to do it, suck it up and do it. Make yourself do it, right? And we listen to all these people and that's what they tell you to do. And then that's what you do. And guess what? You end up not liking it. You end up stopping it. You cause misery to yourself. Believe me, been there, done that. It's not the right way to do it. You want to create that flow discipline because it's all about creating that consistency to become great. So that leads us to step 4, which is confidence. So that's what step 1, 2, 3, and 4 is going to do for you. It's going to start to build that confidence because that's what life is about. Building confidence to know that you can do it. But a lot of times we build that false confidence, right? And how we do that is we pump ourselves up, right? You ever had that moment where you was like, somebody made you mad and you was like, when I see them, I'm going to give it to them, right? You had all the confidence in the world at that time. But as you got closer to getting ready to see them, that confidence started going down and down and down. And then once you see them, you're like, hey, how's it going? And then you never say what you wanted to say. It's because you build that false confidence. That's that confidence that is built off emotion. And we build confidence like that so many times, which let us down when we really need it. So what we are going to build is that real confidence. And how you do that is focus, time management, discipline is going to build that true confidence that you need in order to continue to build that dream lifestyle. Because if you have that false confidence, it's going to be hard to wake up every single day and do what you need to do. You need that confidence to push yourself beyond your limits. And that's what we're going to do when it comes to that confidence. So you want to make sure you do each of these steps in order because that's how you're going to allow yourself to create that dream lifestyle. They complement each other. Focus. You need that focus. Time management. You need focus for time management. Discipline. You need time management for discipline. Confidence. You need discipline for confidence. So that is what we're going to do. And that leads us to creating that structure. So we want to start creating that structure. Remember I talked about that house, right? You need to have a solid foundation. That is what the structure is. That's going to allow you to have that solid foundation because you do not want your life to crumble. You don't want to build this big dream house, this big dream lifestyle, right? And then all of a sudden, it just comes tumbling down because you did not build the structure right. So the structure is going to start off with your channels, your moments, your phases, and your habits. So let's start off with the channels, which is your day, right? We all go through life every single day. And how we do that is with 24 hours. But what I'm going to show you is how to create and simplify that 24 hours. Because a lot of times we just find ourselves wasting time because we don't understand our day, because it's not broke up the way that it should be. So it all starts off with channels. So that's the first layer, which is the morning, midday, and night. Now, how you want to do that is you want to break it up in days. So one day is 3 days. So your first 8 hours is going to be your first day. The next 8 hours is going to be your second day. The next 8 hours is going to be your third day. So how you're going to do that is, if you wake up at 6 a.m., then at 2 p.m., guess what? That's day one. And then the next day will be 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then the next day will be 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Now, we all go through life different. So you want to create this for you because this is who you're doing it for. So if 8 a.m. is your start time, so be it. If 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., whenever your start of your day is, that's day one. And then break it up in 8-hour sections and give yourself 3 days to maximize your day. Because if you do not do that, then you find yourself wasting time throughout the day. We want to create efficiency when it comes to our day. So I'm going to show you how to break that day up, because what we do a lot of times is we just waste hours. So you don't want to continue wasting those hours. You want to make them count for you. And how you do that is by breaking up your days. Think about a $100 bill, right? And $25 you just wasted. And you're like, I shouldn't have bought that. Like, I shouldn't have spent my money on that. Like, oh. Now, do you get angry and then the other $75 you just throw it out the window and you just say, I don't want that $75 because the $25 I did something bad and I shouldn't have did it, right? But with your day, you do that, right? Think about your 24 hours like that $100 bill, right? If you have a bad morning and say your first 8 hours of that day is horrible, what do you do with the other 16? You throw it away and you say, you know what? Today was horrible. I'm just going to relax, take a break. I'm going to start over, and then tomorrow I'm going to be better, right? Have you ever done that? I know I have a lot of times where I just wasted time because the simple fact is I always say I got the next day and I'll be better because this day is already ruined. I don't feel it. Now imagine if you had those first 8 hours and you're like, you know what? Boom, my first day was horrible, but my next day in 8 more hours, I'm going to be great. Or even maybe those 8 hours or 4 hours of those you don't feel as good, but then you get it together. Then that next 8 hours, you make it count. Stop throwing away precious time, because time is the most valuable resource and you cannot get it back. Money you can get back, friends, jobs, all of that stuff. You can get it back in life. But once that time happens, like boom, that second's gone. That second's gone. That second's gone. That second gone. I'll never get it back. Time is the most valuable resource that we have, but yet we tend to waste it. Like we have endless time when we do not. So just like that $100 bill, stop wasting your time and utilize the rest of it. Don't throw your day away because you had a bad section in it, right? So that's what channels is about, breaking your day up, right? Now, that's going to allow you to create that time management because now you got that smaller window. So now it's going to be easier for you to break things up and then hit the reset button. Woo, reset, right? Now focus. So in your morning, you want to start to focus. Now, I don't want to mix you guys up because I did go to that time management, but you need to follow these 4 transformations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do not start off at 2. Do not start off at 3. You want to start off at 1 and you want to go straight down every single day, especially in the beginning, because you want to create the right routine. If you don't know what to focus on, like I said before, then what are you doing every day? That's the most important thing. Like I said, when you sat at that desk after work and you was ready to get going and you was so amped and just ready, but you didn't have the focus because you didn't know what to focus on. You want to start off with focus every single day. What am I going to focus on? Let me become great at it. Then let me figure out the time management. So let's go back up to focus, right? So now with your day, say in the morning, you want to figure out what you want to focus on. In the beginning, you don't know what to focus on, right? A lot of times people say, well, focus on this, focus on that. What is that going to do for you? Right? If you don't do that in the morning, how are you going to focus on it? Right? Or if that's really not a high priority and now you start focusing on it for no reason because you think it's what you're supposed to focus on, then you're focusing on the wrong thing. Then guess what eventually you do? You create that forced discipline. Remember, flow discipline is what we're trying to create. So with the focus, you want to start off in the morning. Boom. Start finding out what you do in the morning, right? Before you can focus, you need to know what to focus on. So let's focus on your morning, right? That's going to be that first focus. Morning, that first day. Let's focus in the beginning. What am I doing when I get up? What am I thinking, right? What is the first thing I do? What is the second thing I do? What is the third thing I do? And you want to gradually kind of figure out, okay, what my morning look like, right? Now, once you actually see your morning, because a lot of times you'd be like, I know what I do in the morning. I ask people this all the time. Well, what you know what you do in the mornings? Yeah, I know what I do in the morning. And yep, I know what I do at night. And then you say, okay, so what do you do in the morning? They say, well, I get up and then I get dressed and then I go to work. That's not knowing what you do in the morning. When I say what you do in the morning, I mean, yep, I get up at 6 a.m. The first thing I do, I grab some water. I drink it, 25 ounces. Then I head to the bathroom. I might have to use the bathroom. If I don't have to use the bathroom, then I brush my teeth. Then after I brush my teeth, I get in the shower. Then after I get out the shower, I oil my body up. Then I go get dressed and on and on and on. That's knowing what you do in the morning, not, yeah, I get up, I get dressed, I eat some breakfast, and then I get the kids ready, and then I go to work. That's not knowing what you do in the morning, right? So you want to start focusing on your morning and seeing what you do. That's the first step. Same thing with midday. Same thing with night. Let's start gathering all that information about you, because that's what you're doing. You capturing what you do daily. And we're going to do that for a while. It's different for everybody. So just because it only take me a week, it might take you 2 weeks. It might take 3 weeks, right? It just all depends on your determination on how fast you want to do it as well, and how much information you gathering and how much information you writing down. So then you can start to create a plan, right? You want to create that plan and you want to start what you need to focus on. Prioritize it, right? You start off with that list. 1, 2, 3, 4, however many you got in that morning. Let's prioritize what is going on so we can become the most efficient. Because when you can start to focus now and you know what you're doing in the morning, I got that list, right? I know everything I need to do in my channels, right? So now we can start creating that priority list. So we got channels, right? We kind of see what we need to do. Now you're probably wondering, okay, well, I get that. I got to focus on this. Okay, well, once I get all that, then what? Right? Then what I do? Then we go to the next step, which is moments. Aware, understand, control. because that's what we do every single day. We have moments, right? All different type of moments. Some moments are big, some moments are small. What I want you to do is focus on the small moments, because that's what truly matters in life. It's too many times we focus on the big picture, right? Like, wow, I see that big picture. That's what I need to focus on, right? And that's where a lot of times you go wrong and you fail, because you're trying to focus on this big picture instead of the little picture, because all the little things is going to create that big thing. And if you focusing only on the big, how do you see all the small, right? I did that. Been there, done that. I'm sure you have too, my whole life. I always focused on the big thing, right? I'm just going to give you an example of, like, in the morning, flossing my teeth, right? We all know we're supposed to brush our teeth. You know, you want to floss because that's a good thing, you know, if you're flossing, right? And then you might add some Listerine, whatever, right? Or mouthwash, whatever you want to call it. So the simple fact is, I never used to floss, right? Because I was only focused on the big picture. Like, okay, it helped my teeth. But in my head, I was like, it take too long. And then I used to use the actual strings that you wrap around your fingers and then you floss like that. It used to hurt my fingers because my teeth are tight. And it was like, that hurt my fingers, man. I was only thinking of problems and not the solution. It's because I was thinking too big, right? I had to start to break it down, and I had to become aware of what was going on. I was skipping a step. Yeah, I was aware that I wasn't flossing, right? But I wasn't aware of what was making me not floss. Yeah, I used my little fingers and I thought it was all about time. And then I started to become aware, and I was like, okay, well, I can use the toothpicks, right? That don't hurt my fingers, right? So now I start to become aware of little things that I wasn't thinking about, because I started to really focus and figure out what was going on. Then that allowed me to start understanding, okay, my fingers are not going to hurt. And then I start to really understand the time that it took. I'm thinking in my head, it take like, you think so big, like it take like 10, 15 minutes to floss. Like I hated it. But the thing is, when I was flossing, I used to overdo it. It goes back to that force discipline and that flow discipline. I was forcing myself to do it a certain way because I didn't do it enough to really create what I wanted to create for me, to make it easier for me. I'm sitting there watching videos or watching other people, and this is how they do it. So this is what I'm doing, but it wasn't for me. So by me understanding what was going on, I started to gain so much knowledge about flossing, it allowed me to actually control it. And that was probably about 2-3 years ago. I haven't missed a day since then. I floss every single day, and sometimes more than once. It's because I created a system for me. And that's what you have to do with your life, with so many other things. You have to create it for you. Yeah, you can go get some tips from videos and stuff like that. I'm not saying nothing is wrong with that. But at the end of the day, you still have to create it for you. Because if it don't fit, then you ain't going to continue to wear that shoe, right? So that's moments, which takes us to the next layer, which is phases, right? Build, implement, live. So let's go back to the flossing. Let's stay on that, right? Let's stay on the flossing. So now I'm going to show you how to build, because, you want to build with awareness, right? So I'm already aware, understand, I'm controlling it, right? I'm controlling it. So now, okay, building is about stacking, right? So now you want to stack on that. So, right? So now my morning, right? I'm focusing. I got the time management, the discipline going. I know what's going on, right? It created that confidence. I'm flossing every day. I'm like, yeah, or whatever it is in your life. You know what I'm saying? You might, after work, you might be working every single day now, putting in that hour or 2 hours that you said, and you like, yeah. So now let's start building on that, right? So now with the flossing, I build on it, right? So now I'm like, okay, I know how long it takes me to floss. Okay, now I know next I'm going to brush my teeth after I floss, right? So now I'm stacking on because, yeah, I used to brush my teeth a certain way. And sometimes we get in these habits and we continue to do it a certain way because that's how we learned when we was younger, right? Are we seeing somebody else do it, so we just continue to do it because that's what we think is the best for us? But now I'm starting to learn that. So now I'm starting to put the floss together, brushing my teeth, the mouthwash after. I'm creating a real plan and a process for my morning routine for hygiene for my mouth, right? Because now, since I became aware of the little thing, right? I seen the little thing. That was the flossing, brushing my teeth, mouthwash. You stacking, you building. But the big picture, right, is actually cleaning my mouth, right? Being having hygiene or whatever it is in your mouth, like just cleaning your mouth. So that's the big picture, making sure my teeth is clean inside my teeth so I can have fresh breath and everything. That's the big picture. And a lot of times we just think about the fresh breath and you just say, okay, I just got to brush my teeth and stuff. But it's more to it than that. And that's in life. With a job, when you first start off, you start off with little things and then you gradually get more responsibilities and you gradually build on it, right? So it's the same thing with that floss, and I built on it. And then I hit that ultimate goal. Now I'm building something. I'm building that plan. Then I'm building that process along the way. Now I got the process, and guess what? I'm off and running, right? Now imagine if you continue to stack so many things, right? And now I'm implementing it every day. Like I said, I've been doing it for over 3 years now, 2 to 3 years, because I implemented the right process, which now has allowed me to live with it every single day, right? So you want to start building with awareness, right? And your mornings, your midday, your night, and then implementing with understanding. Same thing, morning, midday, night. And then living with control, morning, midday, night. It's that simple, people. It's not complicated to build that structure. I'm not telling you nothing that you don't already know, but what I have done is simplify this. I like to say KISS. Keep it super simple. That's what I have done. I have kissed the structure. This is how you create that structure in your life, so you do not have a faulty foundation. And that house is going to last for a lifetime. You're not going to have to redo that foundation. You're not. Because it's built so solid. Yeah, you will maintenance it. But you don't have to build that house anymore. So that's how you do it. And then that middle layer, the core, which is habits, right? And that's organize. So we're going to jump into organize. I've showed you how to build that structure. Now I'm going to show you how to organize your life, because I talked about it. You build that solid structure. Yeah, you're going to have maintenance and stuff like that. This is where this kicks in. This is going to allow you to just completely kiss your life and just continue to grow every single day. Really simplify it, because a lot of times we build that structure, but then it's like, okay, I get it. Now I got this foundation, but it's like, do I choose this siding or and then what type of siding should I pick? What type of roof should I pick? What type of paint? All that stuff with your house, right? So I'm going to simplify it for you, because now you can just put it into categories, right? To organize, you must have categories, right? So it's daily habits that you use every single day, from when you're born until you're no longer here. You use these 4 habits every single day, but we never perfect them like we should. We learn them from when we're younger, and then as we get older, we just continue to kind of drift off and just think we know it all. But let's get back to the basics, people. The first one is self, which equals purpose, right? You wake up every single day and you take care of yourself. That's what we do when you roll out of that bed, right? From when you're born, growing up as a little kid, you got to learn how to understand yourself, right? What is your purpose, right? As a little baby, your purpose is to just, start talking, start walking, right? Then you get as a teenager and it changes. And then an adult, it changes. but it's always changing. And that's what you must realize and understand. Because a lot of times we get to that point and you just become stagnant and it's like, there's no more growth. It's like, oh, I know myself. I don't need nobody to tell me who I am and what I need to do. But you're always growing. So self is always changing. That purpose is always changing because as you evolve in life, it's going to change. And if it's never changing, that means you're not evolving. It kills me when I hear people say, oh, I'm the same person I've been my whole life. You think that's a cool thing? Right? How are you growing? Yeah, it's good to know who you are and where you come from. But if you're not shifting, then you're not growing. And we change because the world changes, which we don't have a choice but to change, right? So you need to start understanding self and continue to understand self and what is your true purpose at this moment in time, because it changes. So that's the first category that you could put your life into. And let's start figuring it out with all these great things that we already know about ourselves now, right? When you put this stuff in these categories, it's easy because we've already done the hard part. This is the easy part, right? The next one is activity equals power. Again, we roll out of that bed, we doing some form of movement, which is activity, which is our power. But why do we not want to track our movements throughout the day? Because a lot of times we go to the gym and we do all this fitness stuff, right? You know, we got these fitness apps, all of that, the watches, track all that stuff, right? But you're not truly figuring out your movements throughout the day. Because a lot of times you go to the gym and it's like, well, you really already did shoulders throughout the whole day because you was lifting like all day long. So why do you need to go to the gym and do shoulders, right? You can focus on another body part to get better. But because we don't know our movements, we continue to replicate things that we've already done. And now we just overdoing a certain body part. And then we like, well, I'm sore here or I got this little ache. It's well because you only work in those muscles. Work some other muscles. And if you start understanding your movements, then you can do that. You know, just like when you was younger, you started take PE and stuff like that. Push-ups, sit-ups, chin-ups. Like I said, let's take it back to the basics. Let's start knowing our movements now as an adult. And now all those little aches and pains that you have and stuff like that, maybe you can do different movements throughout the day to eliminate it. But if you don't know how you are moving, then you're never going to know that, right? You're never going to know that. So let's start figuring out our movements, right? That's that next category, right? Pretty simple, pretty easy. The next one is nutrition, which equals energy. Again, we roll out of that bed, we go drink some water, eat breakfast, lunch, dinner. At some point we eat something or do something, right? And nutrition just ain't about eating, right? Sun, that's giving you energy. You might go to the sauna or something, that's giving you energy. So many things that's giving you energy that you're doing throughout the day. But you don't know that because you're not truly tracking it. You don't know what you're putting in your body. Everybody's different, you know? And a lot of times we get these food plans and then we live and die by it. And we create misery, right? It goes back to that forced discipline instead of the flow discipline. That's what we create because the simple fact is we do not know who we are. You don't understand, right? What you putting in your body. So how are you going to control the reaction of your body? Because a lot of times we're like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm just sluggish. And oh, it's not a bad day. Or I got a headache or whatever it is. You can start eliminating a lot of those things by understanding what you're putting in your body, what you're doing to your body throughout the day. It's not about just tracking some calories and saying, okay, I was 1,000 calories under. Oh, I'm all about my micronutrients. Yeah, that's a piece of it. But let's start capturing the whole picture. So now we can really start creating that energetic lifestyle we all want to live. So the next one is finance, which equals freedom. We work our whole life, right? We work our whole life to eventually retire, right? Or to create a better lifestyle for ourselves. So we have money where we can take vacations or put our kids in a certain sport or they take some piano lessons, whatever it might be, right? We grow up. That's what we pretty much taught us, how to be a worker, right? You go to school, you grow up, you get a job. But why don't you want to understand your finances? I always ask people, I say, are you on a budget or you just know your money? And 9 times out of 10, oh, I just know my money. And I'm like, that ain't good enough. Just knowing your money. You got to stop thinking about a budget like this spreadsheet and it's just only about money that's coming in and going out, right? It's about a bigger picture than that. A spreadsheet ain't just about how much it costs for toilet paper, how much it costs for meat, how much gas costs, what's my gas bill, what's my mortgage. There's more to it than that, people. Like, what are you creating with your money? Like, what do your finances look like 10, 20, 30 years from now? Because that's what truly matters, not just, well, this is how much my mortgage is. I'm saving $500 a month. I'm just putting it in the savings account. You want to allow your money to make money for you. And how you do that is by understanding your finances. That's how you gain the freedom. How do you expect to gain that freedom without understanding your finances? I don't care how much money you make. If you don't understand your finances, you're never going to gain that freedom. You always going to be chasing that money. So finance is very important because when you're born till you're no longer here, it's all about finances, people. It's all about finances. So let's start learning them. So that's organized, right? That's another category. So you got 4 categories down that you can put your life into. Because if you think about your life and every single thing that you do, you can fit it in these 4 categories. It's nothing in life you cannot fit in these 4 categories. And now that's going to allow you to simplify that maintenance. Because now you see what's going on here. You see what's going on there. It's easier to correct it opposed to having everything everywhere, right? It's all over the place. If you got like this book and you don't have any markings or anything in it, then you're like, oh, I don't know what page that was on. You just flipping through the pages like, you're like, forget it, right? But if you got things organized and you got them nice and neat, you got them in order, you're like, oh yeah, okay, that's just on page 10 because that was the time. Boom, you flip to that, right? You just simplify life, right? Kiss it, kiss life. Keep it super simple, people. Again, nothing that I have showed you today is nothing that you're not already doing. You're already doing all of this every single day. The only thing I have done is simplify it for you to create that dream lifestyle. What did I say? I said, together we will create a plan and a process to elevate you to build your dream lifestyle. Well, here it is. This is how you build that dream lifestyle. And it all starts with a 1 moment mindset, people. That's it. It's that simple. Now, if you follow this exactly how I just told you, you will start creating that dream lifestyle. I guarantee it. But for some people that maybe want to speed up the process, because that might take some time, right? Because now you got to start the whole plan from the beginning, right? You got to build the instructions, right? If you got an IKEA furniture set and it didn't come with instructions and you had to figure out how to put all the pieces together, it's going to take you a lot longer than if you got that manual and they tell you step by step. Well, if you want to speed up that process, then that's what I am here for. So if you want to get an action plan created for you so you can speed up that process, then the only thing you need to do is click the link or scan the QR code. And like I said before, together we will create a plan and a process to elevate you to build your dream lifestyle. So if you are ready to build that dream lifestyle and you want to speed up the process, then click the link, scan the QR code, and let's get started right now.